Okay, so 9 things I learned from being in a deficit for 235 days. First, nothing's gonna taste better than being shredded will look like. I'm not shredded right now, I'm still in the process, but still, I have never seen even this much in my life. Like, the fuck? So yes, because whatever you eat, you feel good from it, but it's gonna only last for like 10-15 minutes. But when you're in a good shape and people see that, it's gonna be there for every day. It's gonna be ever present, as long as you stay in shape, or even get into a better shape. So the second thing, it is easier than it seems. You start counting calories, you start going to gym 3 to 4 days a week, and it may seem a little bit a lot in the beginning, but the longer it goes, it just becomes a part of your life where you're just, okay, I got this dialed in, what's next? So it is easier than it seems. You just have to go through the first 3 days. Start your deficit with a comfortable amount of calories, and if needed, decrease later. What I mean by that? So my maintenance when I started was 2,700 calories. I started with 2,000 calories, which is a pretty nice deficit. 300 to 600 is a pretty healthy deficit, which I would recommend to 99% of people. And 2,000 calories were also enough for me to eat pizza, eat cookies, not much, but still I could fit it in, because I knew if a pizza has like 600 calories and I have 450 left, and I don't mind giving all of those 450 calories for a 3/4 of the pizza, I'll just give 1/4 to my friend, and then I will eat the other 3/4 of the pizza. I will still fit in my calories. And now I'm eating 1,600, but it's only because metabolic adaptation kicked in, which basically means that my body got so light that now I need even less calories than before, so I have to drop down my deficit even more or do more cardio. But in my case, doing more cardio wasn't just sustainable, which is also very important thing. I guess it's gonna be 10 things, okay, whatever. So the fourth thing would be, the best diet is the diet you can stick to every day. So when I say like things like eating cookies and pizza, I love it. I don't want to stop eating it, especially if I'm gonna be dieting for a couple of months. I don't want to stop eating it. So I had to structure my diet in a way that I stay within my 2,000 calories. I eat enough protein. At that time it was like 170 grams of protein a day. And that was it. As long as I could achieve those two numbers, I could eat that pizza. So at this point, it just came down to, okay, I need to add more protein or eat more protein, less carbs at this time, so that I can have enough calories for pizza later. Fifth point would be, eat whatever you want, just don't eat like a baby. What I mean by that is, still, if you know your calories and the amount of protein you have to hit, and yes, micronutrients are very important just as well, and you're gonna hit them if you just don't eat like a baby. If you eat enough protein, you have some veggies, some maybe fruit, a banana and an apple, but yeah, just don't eat like a baby. So sixth point would be, calories and protein are responsible for 90% of your physique. I only paid attention through all of these months, like I'm in the 8th month right now, so all of this time I was just paying attention to my calories, total daily intake and weekly intake, but mostly daily intake, and total daily protein intake, which would be normally my mass in kilograms multiplied by 2, and that's every day. Seventh point would be, never skip dessert. I heard it from Hormozy, and I'm very happy that I heard from him as well, because I was doing it myself before I heard the advice, and knowing that such a successful guy like him also says the same thing kind of made me very happy. So never skip dessert, save up enough calories if needed, eat more protein, and save calories for dessert. Have a dessert, have a cookie. Just make sure the cookie fits into your calories. Eighth point would be, don't worry if you have too much fat on your lower belly, hips, lower back. It's completely normal. And the only way to get rid of them is just stay in the deficit for longer. As long as you're losing weight from week to week, the only way to get rid of this and whatever is just stay in the deficit for longer. At some point, you will see them. There's no other way. 9th point would be, don't do aggressive cut, especially if you're a beginner, especially. The reason for that is, first of all, you're gonna feel way worse than you should be feeling when you start a deficit. If you just do a healthy deficit, once again, 300 to 500, 600 calories of a deficit, pretty good, pretty healthy. If you start with an aggressive deficit early, you just start with so much more suffering that deficit just doesn't really feel sustainable from the beginning. Whereas if you just start with a slight deficit and you get used to like losing weight, eating a little bit less, with time, as especially metabolic adaptation kicks in, you will decrease your calories. But until that point, you already look better. So the first objective is to get better looking ASAP, which is way easier to do if you just start with a smaller deficit rather than just going aggressive from the start, and it's also gonna fuck up your mental, so be careful with that. And the last point would be, the test is patience. By that I mean, you will get used to tracking calories, going to the gym, do this and this. It will become a routine. But the hardest days are the days when you wake up and you don't see a change. Maybe you lost a little bit of weight, but visually still nothing changed. And that's the thing. The test is patience. You just stay patient, you do the same thing tomorrow, and the next day, and the next week, till at one day you wake up and like, oh damn, I got some visible abs type shit. That's the test. That's the biggest test. Have patience. You cannot force this process. Anything that has to do with speedy transformations mostly have something shitty coming up afterwards. You lose weight way too fast, you pay for it. Look at all the fighters who make weight. You gain weight way too fast, we all know that's bad. So everything that has to do with your body and fast is not always good, at least in transformation context. So take it slower, have more patience, and be willing to make nutrition and training just a part of you, a part of your whole life. It's just you. Being active, eating healthy stuff is just you, a part of you.